My mind is tuned like a gun assault. I train it every day. Focus sharp as a blade. Heart in balance, never sways. Body moving heavy, spirit rising light and bold. Forgiveness in the pocket, worth more than gold. Fit mind, fit body, fit spirit. We ride, walking in God's living room for healing. Open eyes, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I stand tall, grace in my lungs, power on my tongue. I conquer all. I pace the floor down, I spread the face right on. Quietness breaks the chokehold, fear gets withdrawn. Every step a sermon, every breath a prayer. In a simple love, endurance, I'm built to repair. Bit mind, bit body, bit spirit. We ride, walking in God's living room for healing. Open eyes, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I stand tall, grace in my lungs, power on my tongue, I conquer all.
Hey, Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body fam. It is Kiana, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body Hiking Podcast. So it looks a little different. I am not hiking. We are sitting in the woods somewhere, but we're not hiking. And so I am coming off of celebrating the beginning of season 46, my birthday. And it has been so surreal. I have been celebrating peacefully, meaning that there have not been a lot of activities, just taking it day by day. Whatever comes, comes. Whatever goes, goes. Just, kind of taking the days as they come. So, in that, I realized, a lot of the times we're moving, 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 moving. And sometimes we just have to be still. We have to be still and sit in the sereneness of God, sitting His timing and not our own, so that we can propel. So last month we talked about getting over the log, and Karen shared, one of the guests, how sometimes she had to go backwards in order to go forwards. And I know that I commonly say, let's not live in the past, but we're going to move forward. But meaning that I don't mean for us to live in those moments, but kind of take those moments with us so that we can be proactive in what's happening in our today. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to break it down just a little bit more because I want us to have a full understanding of what that means. It means to kind of dissect what happened in the past, not go back to live there and live in those moments, those days, those hours, those seasons, but look at what happened. And that's primarily been the catalyst for me as I've gone through this forgiveness journey. And I am in a season right now of looking at my finances. So, in looking at my finances, I know that in the beginning of the year, or even before the beginning of the year, the Lord told me no more 360s, meaning no more going back around in circles. And as a result of that, I have found myself going back, right? Um, Many of you all know my journey with weight loss and things of that nature, and going after food, right? To be the thing that helped me counteract my emotions and things that I was going through. And so what I'm realizing in this season, that it's not the food, it's the spending. How many of us are able to kind of be open and honest with ourselves about that when you have traded one addiction for another addiction? So I have been trying to deal with that and even telling myself no, even got myself wrapped up in, like buy now, pay later type things. Not wrapped up to the point where, I'm, overboard. Well, I think that I'm overboard because I don't think that I should be where I am. But however, how do you get out of replacing an addiction with another addiction? And so I've learned in the past that sometimes you just got to go cold turkey, meaning that I'm putting myself on a spending freeze. And I've said that, but a lot of the times for me to be kind of open with what I'm going through um, helps me to get to that place, right? Because now, and I would like to say, that I feel that I'm very strong willed, that I can do things on my own. But over these seasons of my life, I've realized that when I put it out in the atmosphere and other people know it, I can't sneak backwards and stop doing that thing, right? Like I have to go after what it is because I don't it's this thing about me. I don't want to be perceived as a liar. I don't want to be perceived as a non-truth teller. And we go through those things in our lives, right? We'll say we're going to commit to something, maybe in private, and we kind of go backwards. We do the reverse thing instead of going forward. Um, but for me, what has been the catalyst to help me maneuver in going forward is when I put myself on blast, right? Because if I put myself on blast and other people know, other people see, and other people can like call me out on my mess, right? And I think, one of the things that I shared in the last podcast was, going through a space of healing and being in community with that. Maybe finding a group of sister friends that are trying to accomplish the same goal that I am. Maybe we can meet together with our financial goals. Maybe on, I was about to say monthly, y'all, but I think I'm going to go ahead and say on a weekly basis. So, oh, I just seen a fish. Um, where I'm at, the water is in front of me. You'll see all of that stuff in the video when I edit. But yeah, I think that's kind of what I want to do. Maybe have a sister circle of those of us who are trying to financially get somewhere. Uh, there are, a plethora of opportunities, having more than one stream of income that I'm a part of. But what difference does it make to have those multiple streams if you're constantly spending, constantly spending? Recently, I was doing a taping and we were talking about how fast the black dollar leaves the community. And it's so true because there have been many times that money have come into my account, and as soon as the money came in, it went right back out because I had to pay something, pay somebody, make sure that something was straight, either in my household, in the business, constantly spending money, right? So how do we get to a place of holding that money, and even in healing? Right? You can be healed. And I've learned this with the relationship that I had with my father, that you may have forgiven in one area of the relationship, and then something else comes about, and then you start to feel contention about that. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. This relationship is not totally healed. Just portions of the relationship is healed. And so I liken that to this journey of walking towards wholeness, because I know um, I'm journeying towards wholeness, walking to it. But I know that wholeness will never come into full completion until my body hits the soil, until I disintegrate and come, back one with the earth. But in that, I'm walking towards it. And so this is just something that has, been enlightened over the past couple of weeks. I've just really been sitting with this, uh, being in the Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body movement. How do I prioritize other spaces of healing in my life, right? I've gotten the part down with my eating. I've gotten the part down with my working out. I've gotten the part down, in some capacities of speaking in total honesty. And what do I say that? Because I stopped right there because I was about to say speaking in my truth. Because all the times you know, what is our truth may not be truth, a societal truth. So I just say speaking in honesty, and honesty meaning, you know, something that is across the board. It's just honest, right? There's no fable with it. There's none of my emotion mixed in with it, if that makes sense to you. It's just the blatant honesty that is coming from my heart, not my truth, but what is honest. The scripture tells us the things that are honest, right? And the things that are honest would be things that are across the board and not just subject to one person's feelings or emotions or what they're dealing with and how it makes them feel. But a thing that is honest. And let's look at something that is honesty, right? Honesty is saying sometimes what hurts and not the thing that makes you feel better about what it is that you're saying or what it is that you're putting out there or what it is that you're trying to portray. Um, and let me give you an example, right? Being honest. I don't like my toes. I don't. I don't like my toes, right? And so that is an honesty about uh, a perception of my body. Now, my son told me that, in honesty, they're just toes. They're just toes. And so I had to look at that honest comment versus what I thought was an honest comment, which was my truth and not the honest comment. The honest comment is that they're just toes. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. And so just being able to um, get into a place of where I am being honest about a thing and not just operating in my total truth, and realizing that that is how, things are going to manifest. And so, like with my finances, your truth can be, hey, I feel like I deserve this because I worked hard for it. But the truth of the matter is, you don't even sometimes need those things, and you're buying them. And I know for me, for an example, I'm buying them to pacify an emotion, maybe some stress, maybe something I'm dealing with. And so it becomes an emotional purchase. And it's not something that I really need, but it's something that I am saying in my truth, I deserve this. But the honest notion around it is, I just want to buy that because I want to make myself feel better. So that is this next phase of what season 46 is bringing to me, how it's starting. Because, relationally, a lot of the times we work towards being together on an intimate level, meaning in our minds, our spirits, and in our bodies. But I want to get to a place where I am financially connected to someone, right? Me and my husband for so long have had separate entities when it comes around finances. Now, a lot of people in marriages, some of them do financial things together, some of them do them opposite. Now, I'm not saying that we have to have like all of these joint bank accounts and things like that, but I want to have a financial relationship where he can see what's going on with me, I can see what's going on with him, and then we meet in the middle. But if we are both continuously saying that, oh, well, this is my finance, that's my finance, and a lot of that has come with both of us owning and operating businesses, you kind of have to keep things a little separate, but we still should know where each other are financially, right? And not just in a place of where we are mentally, where we are emotionally. And then, just to go back a little bit, if we really look at that, some of the emotions and our feelings are deriving from the place that we are in financially. So I feel that, in the Black community, there are not a lot of relationships where people are coming together in their finances and just like having those truth conversations. One of the things that my mom and I are thinking about doing, we're going to, not just thinking, but we're going to do it, is we're going to have a will party. So both of us have and are Legal Shield associates, and we actively share um, legal services to help out in the community for those who are in need of it. And one of those components are dealing with your the things that people need, like their wills, their trust, their estate planning, and things like that. And and in the community that I grew up in, I can't sit there and say that my grandmother, because that's who raised my brother and I, my grandparents, they didn't sit down and say, oh, let's look at what estates are. Let's look at what wills are. Let's look at these financial components, right? And so I think that as a community, even with getting that sister circle together to do that, holding each other accountable, but also bringing forth resources and knowledge that we can all grow in that capacity instead of um, being ignorant to the fact. I'll just say it just like that, simple, just being ignorant to the fact. Um, and some people think, when you say ignorant, that it's like a negative word, I can't even get the word out, y'all, but y'all know what I'm saying. It's in my mind. It just won't come out. More so just a negative word, or a word that is not uplifting. But ignorant means simply to not know, right? It just means to not know. And so how do you get out of a place of being ignorant is receiving information and knowledge. And so that's one of the things that, many have tried to do that in our communities. They have shared derogatory. That's the word I was trying to say. It wouldn't come out. Many of us in our communities, there are financial advisors out there, accountants that are in our community. And I work with one who has, is helping to shape and shift my business. But what I will say is you have to be willing to get out of the space of the ignorance. And I'm going to be truthful and honest, y'all. In a whole lot, like, I have kind of just like stepped back a little bit because she knows what she knows. She's putting me in a better position. And I know that now is the time where I need to step up because I need to know. I need to know, right? Being a business owner is very stressful. It can be very hard, especially in the area of finances, compliances, and all of the things alike. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at, y'all. That's where I'm at. So stay with me on this journey because I don't want to do that cycle, right? Remember, I talked about how, the Holy Spirit said we're not doing no more 360s. We're going to do an about face, and that's it. And we're going to move forward. And so today I'm putting it out here. Accountability partners, my financial accountability partners. I'm not making no more purchases as of today that don't pertain to elevation, meaning that is something that I have to do in my business. That it is something that I have to do for my family, my household, and eat, and my health. Those are the primary concerns. My family, my health. No, let me see. I'm going to say my health first. I'm going to say my health first because if I'm not healthy, then I can't be there for my family. So, no, let me back that all the way up because God comes first. So making sure that I am doing what I'm supposed to do financially for the uplifting of God's kingdom, my health, my family, my business. There we go. Household and family goes together to me because that's one and the same. My family lives in the house and the house is the family's. So, but yeah, so that's where I'm at, y'all. That's where I'm at with this. Yep. So that's the conversation for today. just dealing with the No More 360s, right? I have elevated, y'all. Did y'all know that I am now Elder Dr. Kiana Brown? And just because you have those titles, that don't make you like all the way all smart and all that stuff. So you still got to do stuff. You still got to pursue things in order to grow. And so that's what we're doing. So I don't know who wants to be a part of this financial journey with me. Um, one, not making any more purchases. Two, being able to um, be proactive in all of my businesses, not just the one, but all of them, because there's a goal. The goal is to be able to do this as much as I want, right? Not just on a day that I'm taking off to enjoy my birthday, but if there's a day that I just want to do this, I can do this because I am going to not be afraid to set myself up for financial freedom. When I tell y'all, I am so tired of being in financial bondage. I am so tired. And as a believer, the word says that we should have life like it is in heaven. It says that on this earth that we should have life like it is in heaven. And a lot of times being in this financial bondage, I don't feel like this is a heavenly lifestyle. And a lot of times people look at you and they see the things that you have and the things that you do, and they just automatically assume that you got it. They think that you got it. I don't. But I'm striving. And so that's what this is. So yeah. Today's episode was about just sitting still and taking to thought with you the things that you want to change that happened in the past so that you don't keep going in circles. I'm tired of the circles. I'm tired. But yeah. So I'm gone. And I'm glad that I've had this conversation. I'm glad that I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere. Yeah. If it's not a necessary purchase, it won't get done. It won't get done if it's not necessary. So, for those of you who want to say, hey, Kiana, I want to be in your weekly group, right? I'm going to contract my mom to help me in this, right? Because she's really, really good at drawing up graphs and stuff. And being able to see the big picture on paper. A lot of times, the picture's in my head, and the picture doesn't always come to full fruition in my head. So we're going to have to put it on paper. And I think that being in our truth can sometimes, you hear what I say, being in our truth can sometimes prohibit us from the success and the growth that we want instead of living in honesty. So those numbers on that paper is going to show total honesty of where we are. And we have to figure out a plan to get there. I said that I wanted to, for my 50th birthday, travel. But I think that I'm going to change that. I'm going to change that. I don't want that for my 50th birthday. What I want for my 50th birthday is to be in a more relaxed financial place. And I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. What does the word say? I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me. It's just time to go. It's time to go, y'all. So today I was just still with my thoughts and speaking in honesty and not my truth. my truth. Speaking in total honesty. All right, love you all. Be blessed. Thank you for tuning in to another Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body. And for you, I'm sorry if I was all over the place, but let me recap for you really quickly. So we were sitting still today. We were just having some thought. And in that thought, we were thinking about how last year, before 2026 came in, that God gave me a vision of not going back into 360, but doing it about face and not turning back. And I've been able to do some great things in my health, meaning getting my mind together, getting my body together, and getting my addiction around food together. But what I've realized in that is that the addiction changed. The addiction changed to something else altogether, right? It became a financial addiction, meaning that I started to get things to make me feel better. Pretty much that's what it is, right? I couldn't eat, so now I'm collecting things that I don't need. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're stopping that today. And we've set forth a goal: God, health, family and home, and then business. That is the prioritized list. I know that if I put God before all of those things, that He will make all those other things line up. So, thank you for tuning in to another Fit Mind, Fit Spirit, Fit Body podcast. And we're going to get fit financially so that by season 50, if God is willing, I will be in a supreme financial situation where I can do simply this whenever I want. And that is do absolutely nothing. So watch the journey, y'all. Let's grow. We got this.
Fit mind, fit heart, fit body, rise. Oh, we climb these hills under open skies. Oh, growth in every heartbeat, steady and slow. Turn the